I want to share something incredibly powerful with you. It's about 2 words you can say before you go to sleep that can help you manifest anything you desire. This technique is rooted in the science of the mind and how it shapes our reality. So let's explore how these 2 words can make a big difference in your life. When we talk about manifestation, we're really discussing the art of aligning our mind and body to create the reality we want. Our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all play a significant role in this process. What you think about before you go to bed has a profound impact on your ability to manifest your desires. Why? Because our brain is a powerful tool that influences our reality, and our state of mind before we sleep can set the stage for how our brain and body work while we rest. To understand how our minds work, it's helpful to look at the role of the subconscious mind. Imagine the subconscious mind as a huge storage tank. This tank holds everything we've ever experienced, including all our memories, beliefs, and past experiences. It works automatically, meaning it influences how we behave and how we see the world without us even thinking about it. For example, if you had a difficult experience with public speaking when you were younger, your subconscious mind might store that memory, and it could affect how you feel about speaking in front of others now. This is because the subconscious mind keeps all the information we have accumulated over time, whether it's positive or negative. The subconscious mind works behind the scenes. It affects your behavior and perceptions without you having to consciously think about it. This means it plays a huge role in shaping your daily actions and reactions based on what it has stored. For instance, if you have a strong belief that you're not good at something, your subconscious mind will help create situations that confirm this belief, even if you don't realize it. This transition from the conscious to the subconscious mind is crucial for manifestation. When you're about to fall asleep, your brain waves shift from the beta state of active thinking to the alpha and theta states. These are more relaxed states where your subconscious mind becomes more receptive. This is the perfect time to plant seeds of desire and intention. Now let's get to the core of today's topic. The 2 words you should say before you sleep. These words are thank you. It sounds simple, but the power behind these words is immense. Why thank you? Because gratitude is a powerful emotion that helps align your mind and body with your desired outcome. When you say thank you before sleep, you are expressing gratitude as if your desires have already been fulfilled. This emotional state of thankfulness sends a powerful signal to your subconscious mind. It tells your brain and body that what you're desiring is already a part of your reality. This shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from wanting to having. To understand why this works, we need to delve into the science of emotions and their impact on the brain and body. Emotions are a significant part of our physiological processes. When you experience an emotion, such as gratitude, it releases specific chemicals and hormones in your body. These chemicals influence your mood, energy levels, and overall health. Gratitude, in particular, has been shown to reduce stress, increase happiness, and even improve physical health. Expressing gratitude is more than just saying thank you. When you show appreciation, you actually activate a special part of your brain called the reward system. This system is responsible for making you feel good and happy. It does this by releasing chemicals in your brain called dopamine and serotonin. These chemicals are often referred to as feel-good chemicals because they create positive emotions and improve your mood. Dopamine and serotonin are important because they help you experience feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. When you express gratitude, these chemicals are released, making you feel happier and more content. This helps reinforce positive thinking and can make you more optimistic about life. The more you feel these positive emotions, the more you will continue to think positively. For example, when you say thank you before you go to sleep, you are using this simple act to put yourself in a positive emotional state. Imagine you are grateful for something good in your life, like a supportive friend or a recent achievement. When you feel thankful, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, which makes you feel good. This positive feeling helps to improve your overall mood and attitude. This positive emotional state doesn't just affect your mood in the moment. It can have a ripple effect on your entire being. Feeling good can lead to more positive thoughts, which can influence how you approach different situations in your life. When you are in a good mood, you are more likely to be optimistic, motivated, and open to new opportunities. This can help you achieve your goals and improve your overall well-being. By consistently practicing gratitude, especially before you sleep, you are training your brain to focus on the positive aspects of your life. Each time you express thanks, you reinforce this positive mindset. Over time, this can lead to lasting changes in how you think and feel. For instance, if you make it a habit to say thank you for the good things in your life, you will start to notice more things to be grateful for. This can create a cycle of positivity that continues to grow. Furthermore, gratitude helps you align your brain and body with your desired outcome. When you're thankful for something you haven't yet received, you're essentially programming your brain to expect it. This expectation creates a mental and emotional blueprint that your subconscious mind will work to manifest. It's like telling your brain that you're already living in the reality you want to create. There's also a concept in neuroscience known as mental rehearsal. This is where you mentally practice or visualize your desired outcome as if it has already occurred. Mental rehearsal helps strengthen neural connections related to the experience. When you say thank you before sleep, you are engaging in a form of mental rehearsal. You're visualizing and feeling gratitude for something you want, which helps create the neural pathways necessary for manifestation. Now let's talk about how to effectively use these two words in your nightly routine. First, get clear on what you want to manifest. It could be a new job, improved health, a loving relationship, or any other desire. Be specific about what you want and why it's important to you. Write down your intention or desire if it helps clarify your thoughts. Before you go to sleep, take a few moments to quiet your mind. You can do this by sitting comfortably, taking deep breaths, and letting go of any stress or tension. As you start to relax, focus on your intention or desire. Imagine it as vividly as possible. See it, feel it, and experience it in your mind. Creating a clear mental image of what you want is just the first step in manifesting your desires. After you have a clear picture in your mind, it's important to take the next step, expressing genuine gratitude. This is where saying thank you with real emotion comes into play. When you say thank you, do it with heartfelt feeling. Imagine that your desire has already come true. For example, if you want a new job, picture yourself in that job, feeling happy and fulfilled. Visualize the details, what your workspace looks like, the people you interact with, and the satisfaction you feel from your work. As you hold this image in your mind, say thank you as if you've already achieved it. Feeling the gratitude deeply is crucial. Don't just say the words mechanically. Allow yourself to really feel the emotions of appreciation and joy. Imagine the excitement and happiness you would feel if your desire had already manifested. Let these feelings fill you up and take over your mind and body. This is not just about going through the motions. It's about truly connecting with the emotional state you would have if your desire were already your reality. Why is this emotional state so important? It's because your subconscious mind responds strongly to your emotions. When you feel genuine gratitude, your subconscious mind gets the message that you are already living the life you want. It starts to align with this new reality and helps to bring it into your physical experience. By feeling as though you have already achieved your goal, you're effectively sending out a powerful signal to the universe that you're ready and open to receiving it. This process helps to create a sense of certainty and belief in your mind. When you can feel the emotions of having what you desire, you are reinforcing the belief that it is possible for you. This belief is a critical factor in manifesting your desires because it helps to keep your focus and energy aligned with your goal. You might wonder how long you should do this. Ideally, you want to make this a nightly practice. Consistency is key. The more you engage in this practice, the more you condition your subconscious mind to align with your desires. Over time, this can lead to significant changes in your reality. Manifestation is not just about saying the right words or using specific phrases. It involves much more than that. It's about aligning your entire being, your thoughts, emotions, and actions with what you want to achieve or attract into your life. This means you need to engage fully with the process of manifesting, and simply saying thank you before you go to sleep is only a small part of it. Let's break it down. First, you need to focus on your thoughts. Your thoughts are like the blueprint for what you want to create in your life. When you think positively and focus on what you desire, you are setting the stage for manifestation. If your thoughts are filled with doubt, fear, or negativity, it can be hard to manifest your goals. So it's essential to keep your thoughts aligned with your desires. Think about what you want in a positive and constructive way. Imagine it clearly and believe that it is possible for you. Next, your emotions play a big role in manifestation. Emotions are powerful and can either help or hinder your efforts. When you feel positive emotions like happiness, gratitude, and excitement, you are sending out a strong signal to the universe that you are ready to receive what you want. On the other hand, negative emotions like anger, sadness, or frustration can block your ability to manifest. It's important to manage your emotions and try to stay in a positive state as much as possible. This doesn't mean you need to ignore or suppress negative feelings, but rather work on shifting your focus to positive emotions and practices. Actions are another crucial part of manifestation. It's not enough to just think and feel positive. You also need to take action towards your goals. This means doing things that will bring you closer to what you want. For example, if you want to find a new job, you need to actively look for opportunities, update your resume, and apply for positions. Taking inspired action is about following your intuition and doing what feels right to move you forward. It's about making choices and decisions that align with your desires. It's important to be patient when it comes to manifestation. Sometimes achieving your goals or dreams doesn't happen right away. Manifestation is a process that takes time, and it often requires you to work through any limiting beliefs or past experiences that might be holding you back. Limiting beliefs are negative thoughts or ideas you might have about yourself or your abilities. For example, you might believe that you're not good enough or that you don't deserve success. These beliefs can act as barriers that prevent you from reaching your goals. When you work on manifesting something, it can bring these limiting beliefs to the surface so you can address them. Past experiences can also affect your ability to manifest your desires. If you've had negative experiences in the past, biological is the chemical, the hormonal, genetic death of the old self. People who say to me, I'm in the river of change, I'm in the unknown, I'm in this void, I can't predict my future. I always say the same thing to them. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? You can't wait for your wealth to feel abundance. You can't wait for your success to feel empowered. You can't wait for the mystical moment to feel awe. You can't wait for your new relationship to feel love or your new job to feel gratitude. It's the old model of reality, of cause and effect, waiting for something outside of you to change how you feel inside of you. When you feel differently inside of you, you pay attention to whoever or whatever caused that. And that event in and of itself is called a memory. to wait for our environment to give us relief. The quantum model of reality is about causing and effect, which means when you feel whole, you begin to heal. When you feel empowered, you're going to be successful. When you're worthy enough, you'll feel abundant. When you are in love with life and in love with yourself, you will find an equal, or it will find you. And when you are in awe of the moment, the mystical is going to bless you in a way that you never anticipated. And when you are in a state of gratitude, your job is on the way. It's causing an effect. And by the way, what is the emotional signature of gratitude? Don't you give thanks when you get something or you receive something? So then, what if you were to begin to give thanks or feel thanks before it manifested? Would your body, as the unconscious mind, believe it's in the future experience in the present moment? Because gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. And so we don't pray in our work to have our prayers answered. We get up as if our prayers are already answered. It is that state of mind and body that I know that requires a clear intention and an elevated emotion. And the clear intention is an act of the mind and the brain, and an elevated emotion is when you open your heart. When you combine those two elements, you just moved from living in your past to living in your future. So then, here's the question. Can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the experience has already occurred? Can you fall in love with a future potential that already exists in the quantum field? And how many potentials exist in the quantum field? Infinite potentials in the quantum field. Can you select a new potential in the quantum field and emotionally embrace that future reality before it's made manifest to such degree that your body, as the unconscious mind, is believing it's living in that future reality in the present moment, and you're signaling new genes and new ways? If there's physical evidence in your brain and body to look like the experience has already happened, there's evidence there physically, by thought alone. Relax, because the experience is going to find you. There's an intelligence that's giving you life right now. It's keeping your heart beating and digesting your food and organizing trillions of functions in every single cell of your body. It's organizing mutations in your DNA. There's some invisible force that's giving you life, but that same intelligence that's keeping your heart beating and digesting your food is the same intelligence that's creating supernovas in distant galaxies and causing flowers to bloom. It's both personal and universal. It's within you, and it's all around you, and you can't see it, and you can't smell it, and you can't taste it, and you can't feel it. But it is the giver of life, and it is a consciousness. And consciousness is awareness, and awareness is paying attention, and it is the observer observing you into life. And you know, when I tell our advanced students, either you're going to be defined by a vision of the future or the memories of the past. And then people say, why are you so bitter? Why are you so frustrated? Why are you suffering so much? And your brain, in that emotion, you're in the emotion, which means you're in the chemical residue of the past, is going to call up the event because you're emotionally connected to it. And you're going to say, I'm this way because of that past experience. So then imagine what I do with people. We have people that have been abused. We have people that have been traumatized, that have been assaulted. We have people that have had very, very difficult pasts. And have you ever heard me say to revisit the event? Have you ever heard me say that? Never do we need to revisit the event, because once you do, you open the box. But what we want to do is overcome the emotion, because that's just what's lasting from the event. So you sit a person down, and the moment you sit them down, what do you think the body is going to do? It's going to look for something to recreate that emotion, because that's the person's identity. Are you with me still? So if I inspire the person to sit there, and they're sitting there, and all of a sudden they're noticing that they're hot, and they're irritated, and their stomach is twisting, and all of a sudden it's a group of sensations, a group of feelings that they have called all along frustration. But the different sensations, the moment you name it, it becomes an emotion. But what it is just bodily sensations. It's energy that's stuck in the body. So the body is looking to go back to the past. It's believing it's in the past. Are you with me still? So if the person becomes aware that their body is doing that, and like training an animal, allow the body to feel that emotion and then settle it down into the present moment. When you settle it down into the present moment, the body starts to trust the present moment and move out of the past. And there's a release of energy. Then the body goes, wait a second, what's going to happen in the next moment? And it starts doing that. And it starts to try anticipate the future. And you settle the body back down into the present moment. And every time you do that, you're telling the body it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind and your will is getting greater than the program. And all of a sudden, you start to lower the volume to that emotion. And when you begin to break the addiction to that emotion, the side effect of breaking that addiction is called joy. It's called freedom. All of a sudden, the body's saying, I don't want to be tormented anymore. Now, does that mean you shouldn't grieve over things that you lose? Grieving is a biological process. It's neural pruning. It's a death of circuitry. It's a death of emotions. It's the absence of void of something in your life. And that's important. In grief, sooner or later, you've got to come to a greater understanding about death, a greater understanding about loss, a greater understanding so that you can adapt to those conditions. Every time I sit with someone and they start complaining about their life and I let them go for a few minutes and then I go, oh, you know what I say to them? You only complain about your life when it's not working. And the emotion that you're feeling right now is keeping you connected to the past. You never do this when your life is working. And so I don't have a problem with moving through the stages of emotions. But I also know that what a person really wants more than anything else is to be free. People want to be free. And I have witnessed transformation. It was so alive in their mind that they began to live as if that future reality was happening in the present moment. So here's my question. Can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the event has already occurred? The latest research in neuroscience says you can change your brain from living in the past to living in the future. And can you fall in love with that vision to such a degree that you come out of your resting state and change guilt or suffering into inspiration and joy and gratitude? To such a degree that your body, as the unconscious mind, does not know the difference between that external event and what you're creating internally, so that your body believes it's living in that future, in the present moment, and you begin to signal new genes in new ways to change your body to look like the event has already occurred. The latest research in epigenetics says you can change your body by thought alone. Now reason this with me. If there's physical evidence in your brain and body to look like the event has already occurred, your brain and body are no longer living in the past, they're living in the future, and you will walk right into your vision, something new you wanted to experience. And the moment you started thinking about this experience, the moment you started contemplating this potential reality, you turned on a part of your brain called the frontal lobe, the crowning achievement of the human being. It's 40% of your entire brain. It is the creative center and it has connections to all other parts of the brain. And the moment you said, what would it be like to be a leader? What would it be like to be successful? What would it be like to have this vision come true? The moment you asked that open-ended question, you turned on this part of the brain because the rest of the brain is just a bunch of automatic programs. And now the frontal lobe, the creative center, wakes up and it has connections to the entire brain. It's the CEO, it's the boss, it's the symphony leader of the brain. And the moment you get creative, the frontal lobe begins to select different networks of neurons that are stored in your brain from things you've learned or experienced. And as you begin to think a what-if question, it begins to select these different networks and begins to seamlessly piece them together and making your brain fire in new sequences and in new patterns and new combinations. And whenever you make your brain work differently, you're changing your mind, because mind is the brain in action. Mind is the brain at work. And the moment those neurons fire in tandem, you get a picture in your mind, a hologram, a vision. For those people who are passionate, that thought that they're thinking begins to create an elevated emotion. They become inspired, they feel enthusiastic, they become passionate. They started to open their hearts. And all of a sudden, they're combining a clear intention with an elevated emotion. And it's the combination of a clear intention and an elevated emotion in our research over and over again that proves then the person now is changing fundamentally, changing biologically, changing internally. And their brain and body are moving from living in the past into living in the future. When you do that, when you had that moment, you came out of your resting state, and then you started to write down all the things you were going to do to get to that vision, all the choices you were going to make, all of the experiences or goals you wanted to achieve, and all of the emotions and the joy you would feel. And when you were doing that, you were setting your sights towards that destiny. And then you did something really brilliant. You wrote down the choices you weren't going to make. You became aware of the behaviors you weren't going to demonstrate. You began to review certain experiences you wanted to stay away from, and then you looked at the emotions that would bring you to a lower level, and you began to separate the old self from the new self. And when you begin to do that and you're observing the old self, it means you're no longer the program. Now you're the consciousness observing the program, and that's when you begin to objectify your subjective self. And so the moment you stop making the same choices that you always make, get ready, because it's going to be uncomfortable. And that's the moment you're heading towards the new self. Do you think that you can change the circuits in your brain by thinking about it? So I did this experiment a little ways back. It took these people who never played the piano before, and they separated them into 4 categories. And they said, listen, we're going to scan your brains before you learn this exercise, and then we're going to scan your brain after. And all you have to do is show up for 2 hours a day and practice for 2 weeks, okay? And just follow the instructions. And we're going to hook your brain up to these sophisticated scans, and we're going to see what happens before and after. So they got with these people, and they said, okay, first group, here's the scales, and here's the chords. They're one-handed exercises. Practice them over and over again. Keep playing them. So they played every single day, 2 hours a day for 2 weeks. They scanned their brains before, they scanned their brains after. After 2 weeks, guess what happened? Whole new set of circuits lit up in their brain that never lit up before. That makes sense. You learn something new. Learning is making new connections. Repeating it over and over again is sustaining or maintaining those connections, and that's called memory. So they memorized what they were doing by physically practicing or personalizing what they learned. Make sense? Yes. Standard. Simple. It took the second group of people, and they said, listen, we want you to play 2 hours a day for 2 weeks. We're going to scan your brain before and after. You know what we're going to do? We're not going to tell you how to play anything. You just come and do whatever you want. Play whatever you want. So at the end of 2 weeks, guess what happened to them? Nothing. You know why? Because they couldn't remember what they had learned the day before. And they couldn't remember what they played the day before, and they had no structure. They got no instruction and no knowledge to be able to apply it to make some steady circuits. It took the third group of people, and they said, listen, don't even show up. Don't even create your day. Same thing, nothing happens. The last group of people, they said, listen, we want you to come 2 hours a day for 2 weeks. We're going to show you these one-handed exercises, but instead of you physically playing the piano, we want you to mentally rehearse over and over again those exercises. We know you're going to get tired, so we'll nudge you and we'll keep you awake. But you practice for 2 hours a day and you keep repeating those. The end of 2 weeks, they rescanned their brain, and guess what happened? Same area of the brain lit up as if they were actually playing the scales. Now you know what that means? They grew new circuits in their brain just by thinking about it, just by thinking, just by rehearsing. Now, every time we learn something new, we make new circuits in the brain. If you learn anything new, learning is making a new connection in the brain. New neurological connection. Memory is maintaining or sustaining those connections, keeping them alive. And the only way that we maintain and sustain connections in the brain is by repetition. Repetition allows the neurons to develop a long-term relationship. So these people every single day made it the most important thing. They gave up their social engagements. They gave up television. They said, I'm going to rehearse. I'm going to mentally rehearse the greatest ideal of myself every single day. And as long as I keep doing it every day, what's going to happen to those circuits? They're going to light up and become the more sustainable circuits to act as a platform of who they will become in the future. During this process of rehearsal, while they were sitting down rehearsing who they were going to be, just like the piano players rehearsing over and over again, they had long moments where they lost track of time and space. In other words, they became so involved with what they were doing that when they opened their eyes or they lifted up their eye masks or when they turned the lights on in the room, it was 2 hours later, and it only seemed like 5 minutes. They were so involved with what they were doing that they lost the feedback of the body, they lost the feedback from the environment, and they lost track of time.